Hello, testing 1 2. I don't know if this is live. I hope this is live. Hello, testing 1 2. All right, we're gonna watch US Cup at Vail tonight. The stream is just getting started. Alright, seems like this is working. I don't know, RecTech, are you seeing the stream? Is it working for you? I don't know, YouTube changed their UI. Trying to see if this works. Hey Bendero, did you give a super chat? All right, thanks Bendero, man. Let me know if you see the stream. I know the countdown just reached 0. Just want to make sure it works. Yeah, you see it. Is the bitrate okay? Yeah, it's probably a low bitrate because not much is going on the screen.
Super chat received.
All right, here's the super chat notification. It's a bit late. All right, it works though. All right, we're still working the kinks for this stream setup, so let's get this started. Let's roll the intro. All right. All right, there we go. We're live. We got Derek is with us tonight. We see you, Derek. All right, Derek is almost there. All right, so tonight, yeah, we're gonna watch the US Cup at Vail. So this one was recorded last year. It was March 24th last year. It was US Cup number 2. How's it going, Derek?
I'm good, how are you?
Pretty good. All right, we're gonna watch this. You're at home comfortably. All right, so a bit of rocky start to the stream. We're trying to get this sorted out. We're gonna wait a little bit.
I got nothing.
Wait.
I got nothing right now.
No, you might have to go. You might have to go back to my YouTube channel, like the root of the YouTube channel, so that you can see. Because there might be another stream. You got it now?
There we go. We're all good.
All right. So yeah, let's wait for more people to join since we didn't get the 5-minute. You're gonna have to mute your TV though, Derek, because otherwise I'm gonna get feedback.
Oh, you're right.
All right. So Benduro just gave some super chat. So go check out his channel. His YouTube channel is Benduro. Just look it up. and we are on the starting grid at Vail Lake. There's about 100 riders for this one. I don't know if you remember this one, Derek, if you were there.
Yes.
You were there. 100 riders, Pro UCI event. It's an HC category, which is our category event. So the biggest form of cross-country racing below World Cup level. So the best athletes are there. Gustavo is in the chat. How's it going, Gustavo? Saying hello. All right. All right. So yeah, Vail Lake. It's in Southern California. It's a short course, so it's gonna be a lot of up and downs. I think on my Garmin I had like 23 kilometers total for my race distance. It's gonna be 6 laps, but for most of us, we're gonna try to survive as long as we can because there's the 80% rule is in effect. So that means once the race leaders are about to lap us, then we get pulled out of the course, so that we're not traffic in the way of the race leaders. So that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna try to survive as long as we can. We're gonna have the Josh cam tonight. How's it going, James? James in the chat says yo, man. All right,
Hey, James.
all right, Derek. So yeah, let's talk about there's an upcoming race this weekend. So Derek, you tried the course, you pre-rode the course. So how was it?
It's really good. It's you got a lot of wide open fire road all the way until about the halfway point, and then you go on to the single track, and basically it's all skyline from the bottom of Plantation all the way to Pine Knot.
All right. How many feet of climbing did you get over there?
I got like 30. So from my house, I was around 30 miles round trip, and it's about 2 miles over there and 2 miles back from my house. We rode up Fern, which I think we're actually going to start in Bear Mountain parking lot. And then the time is not going to be calculated until we cross where the pavement turns to the dirt. So it's kind of an interesting start where you're going to start, but your time's not going to start until you cross the pavement, which is kind of interesting. So that's kind of a logistic, how hard you want to go before your time actually starts. And it's a pretty good climb. And, do you really want to get past before that, because then you could be in traffic. So there's a couple little logistics there that are sort of interesting. But the single track's in super good shape. Everything's in really, really good shape. I rode it once with Chad Hall, and we did a little video. And if you check out my YouTube channel, you can check that out. And then I rode it again with Stuart Gonzalez, and we did the whole entire loop.
Okay. All right. So, is there any changes to the race format? And by the way, Yordi is in the chat. How's it going, Yordi? Yordi is a long-time viewers of the stream since day one.
Yeah, so I guess there is some. It's going to be a time trial format, like we did at Remotic. So that's what the website says and what Tom's been saying. So
time trial. So you said we have to pedal up. So so your time is gonna start when you roll past the finish line. So it's not gonna be.
Yes.
So are they gonna seed people by 30 seconds interval? You think?
Yeah, I'd say 30 seconds or a minute. Probably, yeah.
Okay,
more than likely.
And then from that point on, depending on how hard you reach the starting line, you might be side by side with someone when your time actually starts, right?
Yeah, that's very true. Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna do endurance. I signed up for endurance. It's gonna be tough, I think. It's gonna be a lot of climbing, but yeah, my training program says ride for 4 hours, so I guess.
Yeah. I would say probably like 26. I mean, probably. So if it's, I got 3,200 feet of climbing, being cautious per lap. So 6,400 feet of climbing probably.
Damn. Okay, that's gonna be a good day on the bike. I mean, I'm telling myself like worst case, once I've had enough of once I've had my 4 hours, and if I'm about to bonk or whatever, I can just pull out. I'm not racing. No, there's of course not. I mean, you're pretty far out anyway, so you have to ride back to your car, so might as well finish on the course.
There's Samuel Brim right there, getting ready to tear it up for Bear Valley Bikes with the magic slippers on.
Yeah, so it's the national anthem. I know we're talking over the national anthem, but it's not live right now. We're watching the replay. So I recorded the race on my GoPro. I have one of my head, one on my seat post looking backwards, and we also have one on Josh. So we have 3 cameras. Samuel Brim is there. So we are at the back of the field, like we're last row. We see the last 3 rows here, and there's 100 riders in front of us, so we're gonna try to move our way up. It's gonna feel like cyclocross a little bit. And so Frederick is in the chat. Swedish Moose is there watching from Sweden, so good morning in Sweden. And Vegan Kid is there. He says Big Bear time trial this weekend. All right, that's gonna be fun. And Keyang is there. Keyang, long time no see. Are you gonna be there this weekend at Big Bear? So we're racing for that.
Yeah, no,
It's been a while since we raced in Big Bear, so I'm excited. I didn't race at all last year. I didn't race once in Big Bear last year. So for me, it's been 2 years since I've been in Big Bear. So it's pretty it's been a while.
Big Bear's been incredibly busy lately too. Like we had the weekdays are almost like normal weekends. And then the weekends are like a holiday, like 4th of July weekend. So it's been pretty crowded up here lately.
Yeah? Is it the bike park that's attracting a lot of people?
No, I think everybody's just trying to get out of the heat and get away from the city.
Yeah, okay, so it's much cooler there this time of the year, right?
Yeah.
How much?
Yeah, but I would say 80s, but it is possible to get in the 90s. But on the top elevation, there's a cool breeze. Like we've gone out around race time recently, and it's been close to 80, but there's been a nice cool breeze, and it's pretty good conditions, I would say.
Yeah, all right. Can't wait to see that. So we moved up forward. We're about to go to the start. So while I sync up, tell us about the course, Derek. You remember that course a little bit?
Yeah, it was pretty short. And didn't they do that kind of infield thing where there were some S's and stuff and a little wall climb?
There's a start loop.
I actually didn't do this race this year. I wasn't prepared to, so I did the regular pro race that was part of the series.
All right, let's switch to the race camera. We're gonna go racing. There we go. We're about to go racing. There we go. Race starts. It's gonna be crazy. It's on. Look at this chaos and look at this dust. And Josh is in the chat. How's it going, Josh? So you can jump on the Discord channel whenever you want. Look at that. So I'm trying to go on the outside. So my strategy there was to be on the left. Stay on the left side. I'm trying to go around the carnage there. And yeah, you see how it's jamming up on the inside, and then people are stopping to have a chat. Like, yeah, how's your day going so far? All right, and then that's Stuart in front of me there. So here, there's usually like one line on the right and maybe another line on the left, but we kind of made a third line on the start there. So I was in the middle line. People falling down. You see that? This guy has a cyclocross remount, and in front of me right there, that's Josh right there. So Josh is right in front of me. We have his cam, so we're gonna be able to follow his camera. So that's the Josh cam. That's what Josh is seeing. He's right in front of me, and I'm behind Josh there. So we're looking behind. So I made a lot of gain, a lot of position right there, following Josh.
Go team Dre.
And I'm passing Josh right there, making a move on the right. Look at the long queue of riders on the single track. That's 100 riders. Josh, you said you can get on the Discord. Yeah, at this point, race leader is almost done with his starting loop. All right, there we go. See, we have Josh is a little bit behind me on the Josh cam there. You see myself, I'm in the yellow jersey up ahead of Josh right there. Some trying to. You see Josh right there behind me on the Josh cam. You remember that? It's a super fun course right there, Derek. I think that's pretty much one of the most fun part of the course, if you remember. They also.
Good.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed racing at Vail Lake. I started racing at Vail Lake back when it used to be called Butterfield Country in the early 90s. And it kind of grew, and it's been through a bunch of different editions, but it continues on, and now it's part of the staple of the National Championship Series. So it's always a good time to race there for sure.
Alright, so I made a lot of position at this point. I think I was up the midfield. I was up all the way up to P50 at this point when I counted from another camera. But see the guys now, they got a bit of clear air. They're about to make a move. So a lot of guys are passing. Josh is staying behind me. You can see what it looks like on the Josh cam. So that's the Josh cam. He's following me. And you see I'm kind of losing the tail of that group there. I'm trying to reconnect with them, but I'm a bit gassed. So those guys are gonna help me try to bridge, try to reconnect with the pack. It's really important to stay on the draft at this point. And Dunstan is in the champ. So going Dunstan, we have Crispy is here again. And look at that traffic jam right there. We're stuck in LA traffic. Look at that. And people running anywhere. You see Stuart is behind me there. He's gonna try to cut the grass. People getting up their bike, running around, jumping in the bushes.
A mad dash.
I mean,
A mad dash.
as long as you stay between the tape, I guess it's legal, but it was crazy there. I lost a lot of position at this point. Crispy saying, hurry up and stuff. Yeah, that's the thing. We were like pushing really hard to reconnect with the group, and then we came to a complete stop on the 405 at rush hour.
No, Stuart, he's trying to make his way in the group with you guys.
And Stuart made a lot of positions there. He was able to see. I think we see him behind me. He's right behind Josh. So I'm trying with I can put the two cams side by side like that. That's a new view I'm gonna try tonight. And we've got the flyby here, so we can see the group of riders here. So we are at the back somewhere here. I think that's Sam, Will. So it's still a long snake of riders. Bradley is in the chat. How's it going, Bradley? Hope you're doing well. So you're doing a live stream? Is that gonna be? Is that what you're saying? Gonna do a live stream of music tomorrow? I'm gonna watch that, man, Bradley. Let us know the link of your channel.
No.
All right, and so guys, pushing really hard in front of me, trying to reconnect with the guys. So I'm trying my best to grab a wheel and keep it, but gaps keep opening. So I had a really good opening loop, but then I'm gassed at this point. So guys are passing me. Swedish Moose is saying, did you use the pic I sent you on Messenger? Did you see the pic I sent you on Messenger? Did you send it right now? If you send it right now, I didn't see it. Josh is saying this was my best race ever. So Josh, you were having a good race still. I mean, because we're pretty up in the standings right now. So Josh, are you having problems with your internet connection? Is that why you cannot connect to the text, not the text, but the voice channel? All right, so there you are, Josh behind me, patiently waiting behind. So we're losing a lot of position. So here's the Josh cam. So this is a climbing section. So as you can see on the elevation graph on the bottom right, on the Josh cam, there's a lot of up and down, and that's the thing with UCI HC7, is that they throw all the little climbs into the mix and you just do them over and over and over. And it's really brutal because there's not really anywhere you can breathe or catch a wheel. And Lisa Ringo is in the chat. She says best and worst race. Or worst best race. Is that what did you say? Worst best race? Okay. I mean, at some point there's an overlap. Alright, so we saw I think that was Sam. Sam passed me there. Passed Josh. And he hasn't passed me yet, so I think we have Sam from riding from Bear Valley Bikes there, right behind me.
Go. Stay right there.
And then Stuart is next in line.
Yeah, I remember he decided not to do the endurance or anything. He really wanted to do that Pro UCI race.
I mean, they're having a better race than me. Like I think it seems like their fitness is oh, Josh. So Josh, I cannot accept a video call. You will have to join the voice channel in the Discord. All right, so that was a really steep section, and there was a little, go around on the left, which was super loose, and you could make a pass on the right if you were like really strong, but it was steeper. So it seems like most people were going on the left there. That's another narrow single track. And then Josh behind me, still behind me. So I'm the yellow jersey in the front, and yeah, you see in the chat, Streamlabs is saying to follow me and Josh on Instagram, but we both changed our handles, so those handles don't work anymore. I don't know how to change that. I have to find where that is. Alright, so maybe that's one part where we can breathe a little bit there, going downhill. Josh is saying in the chat, that was super steep. Yeah. Trying to get some good aero there. I'm following Stuart, so I'm trying to stay with Stuart right there on the cam, the bend cam, following Stuart, and we're approaching the steep little climb there that we saw at the beginning where people were unclipping. But when we're not in the mass group, it's a bit easier because you know what's coming and you can choose your line. So Josh said you suspended your Instagram temporarily, taking a break from social media. All right, so I'm going on the inside line there, trying to pass Stuart. Josh, look at Josh. I want to show you his telemetry. He hit like 1,000 watt there. So Josh, I don't know how you did that, but you were over 1,000 watts. You're pushing way more power than I do.
That's crazy. That's a lot of watts.
And you saw Josh is wearing the same jersey as I do, so he's wearing the Team Dreams colors for this race. He showed up to the race and realized he forgot. I think you forgot your shoes, you forgot a bunch of stuff, and you were able to find people, lending you stuff, and I lended you a jersey, and that gave you. I think the jersey, the Team Dream jersey, might give you an extra. I don't know, 10 watts at least. Each jersey has a different boost. Alright, how much is the Bear Valley Bikes jersey giving you, Derek? A lot.
It's like it's a collective consciousness of all the power of all the athletes that have ever raced for the team before.
So it's adding up every time. Like everybody is racing the Bear Valley Bike jersey, it keeps adding up to the jersey. So how long has it been going? Your team there?
The team actually was formed in 1995, and has been going ever since. And it was actually extenuation and a separation of a team that was called Big Bear Bikes prior to that, that started in the early 90s, like actually 1990, I believe.
Damn, so 1990. All right, let's look where we are on the flyby. So we can see the train of riders here. So we are at the back there. So we're at the back of the queue, and the start finish line is right here. So we're almost done with the first lap. So the first lap was a bit longer because we did a start loop followed by an actual first lap. And so I'm trying to stay. I think that's Stewart behind me. Is that him? And then Josh ahead is he's got more riders. So you forgot your number plate, helmet, shoes, jersey. So Jason gave you lended you some shoes and pedals. I think Big Bear set you up with a temporary plate. All right.
Yeah.
So have you seen the plates for this year? Oh yeah, it's not the first race at Team Big Bear with you, right, Derek? So this is like the third one. You guys did already the first two ones.
Yeah, it's the third race in the series.
So is it gonna be a shorter series?
Yeah, I guess it depends on what happens, you know, with the whole COVID thing and how this all plays out. I'm really interested to see how the Team Big Bear race goes with Tom this weekend, moving forward with the Grizzly as well.
All right, so Josh, you were having a good race right there, following on the wheel of this dude. You're saying all my stuff was in a bag sitting at the front door of the apartment. Yeah, that's always what happens. You prepare everything and you just leave it there. It's when every time you do a lunch, you like, I'm gonna bring my lunch to work today, and then you prepare it and then you forget it on the counter, right? Josh is saying I worked great under pressure. This was one of my best races ever. Yeah, sometimes that gives you the adrenaline boost to get, you know, to get things done. Is Riley gonna be on the stream?
Yeah, I was trying to get her, but she's like playing hard to get. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. He said no. He said no. Come here. Come here. Come here, get it. Come here. Look.
You're already saying that telemetry of this race is like my heart rate uphill. Oh yeah? We've got Riley on the stream.
She's better looking than me, that's for sure. Right? Crazy dog.
But your heart rate is pretty good, Josh. 174, is that your threshold? You're yelling at the guys in front. So let me see if I can catch the name of that dude.
Puddle jumper beating the Air Force, right? No, puddle jumper beating you, right?
So you have Will in front of you. You have moving too fast. I cannot get their name. I think Will is the guy with the red helmet. And you have Shane who's also there. And you've got someone on your ass too. So there was someone behind you right there. If we look at the flyby here, so that's the group we're following here around the Josh camp. So Josh is not the last of this queue. So you've got someone behind you. See, we got Will, we got Shane. This dude is Josh. The blue one, can I get him? And then who's that? Stewart is with you. So that's Stewart that's behind you at this point, Josh. And we got this dude, and that's me right there. I'm gonna drop being dropped, and I'm trying to catch this dude. That's Will Foley. Okay. Do you just yell at the guy? He's Air Force One. Air Force. Okay, he was Air Force, and you were Coast Guard. Okay. It was a battle, most of the race of battle of veterans there. Man. Yeah, at the end of lap 1, man, feeling pretty gassed. Was pretty intense opening loop, and then first lap, a lot of climbs. Oh yeah, look at him tweaking out.
And they're so punchy. They're like really quick little hard effort climbs. And you have to carry so much momentum at Vail. You can carry a ton of speed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think a course like that, if you are a strong sprinter with a lot of watts in your legs, you can just smash those little climbs and, you know, recover on the next downhill. Small guys like me, I need very long grinds to really have an advantage, because that's where my lightweight is an advantage, because I can keep my power up for a long time. But yeah,
it's interesting. You know, we go to different venues throughout the whole year, and you have like Fontana is super steep and really super technical. Vail Lake is more like groups form, and there's usually a sprint finish. You know, usually 3 or 4 guys end up coming pretty close into the finish together. And then you got like Big Bear, and different courses are completely different and suit riders differently. And then the day and the conditions, because when we were at Vail Lake this year, it was muddy and rainy and really nasty for the second event we had there when we had the national.
Yeah, when it rains there, it becomes a very different style of course. Very muddy, very slippery. The mud can, you know, get stuck in your bike, and you know the chain can, you know, fail. The drivetrain start having problem. You can have to rebuild the whole bike after racing in the wet at Vail, and that's what Dunstan in the chat is saying. Being from the East Coast, those trails look slippery with loose sand over hard pack. So have you ever ridden on the East Coast, Derek?
Yeah, I actually lived in North Carolina for a while, and I did a bunch of racing in and around Chapel Hill for a few years there. And yeah, a lot of like stream crossings and routes and rocks that were embedded, a little bit different. I also raced a national in Seven Springs in Pennsylvania in a national team qualifier race that they had years ago, and it was just embedded little boulders and roots everywhere.
Yeah. So how do you like the slippery mud and, you know, sliding on rocks and sliding on roots? Do you like that?
Yeah, I kind of embrace whatever the conditions are for what they are and try to make the most of the day. You know, I've had races where it was super, super muddy, and I thought I was going to have the worst race ever, and somehow had the best race of my career, you know, and sometimes it's dry and perfect conditions, and I think I'm going to have a great event, and then had a terrible race. So it's really hard to, you know, to always know what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, and that's what Josh is saying. He said that the traction isn't too bad, and sliding is pretty predictable. So that's the thing, you kind of get used to the sliding, and once you initiate the slide yourself, you kind of know what's coming, you know? It's when the slide starts happening and you didn't expect the slide to happen, that's when you kind of, it catches you by surprise, and you can crash because you overreact to the slide. All right,
Good.
I was saying 5 laps to go now. We just passed the finish line, so we're done with lap 1. So that was start loop plus lap 1 that we just did, and now we're on lap number 2 of 6 laps.
Yeah, and be ready to slide the bike around the big road this weekend, because it's super dry and super loose, kitty litter everywhere. So you try to stay in the racing line as much as possible, and that's where there's a little bit of hard pack. But just off the racing line on both sides, it's super loose. So yeah, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun backing it into corners, and you know.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun to slide a bike, and yeah. So there I am passing the finish line. So I'm quite far behind Josh. I don't have any wheels to follow, so I'm pretty by myself there trying to catch a wheel. And yeah, lap number 2 is underway. We can look at where the race leaders are on the flyby. Let me bring this in the view right here. So here I am here. The finish line was right there. So we are on our way our second lap, and look at the race leaders where they are. They're pretty far. Almost done with the very steep climb that we saw. The sandy steep climb, and they're about to make their way down. So the gap opened pretty big already.
Dude, you're such a nightmare.
Yeah, so Josh, you're saying you were planning to race the entire XCT circuit in 2020, but I think there was a change of plans. Yeah, I think I wanted to do that too, to do the full cross-country tour, they call it in the US. So there's a bunch of pro events, and there's one I think in Colorado, there's some on the East Coast. But yeah, most of them were canceled this year, so that's a bummer.
And of course, Benelli Park, which was set to be the site of the Olympics in LA. So that's kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, so do you know what happened with that? Now that that LA is officially gonna host the Olympics, so you think Benelli Park is gonna be the venue, or do you think they're gonna?
Yeah, I had spoken with Scott Tedra at one point, and he had joined like the Olympic committee, you know, and they had gone through all those hoops. And yes, supposedly, if there was a Summer Olympics in LA again, the mountain bike race was going to be held at Benelli Park.
All right, so that's exciting because we're gonna know the course. I mean, it's gonna look a lot different. Like when you look at what happened in Rio, and we look at the test course in Tokyo, it changes the park completely, right? They do a lot of man-made features, and I don't think we're gonna recognize the course at Benelli once they're done setting it up.
Yeah, at least Benelli has a lot of infrastructure to do a really good job, I think, of being able to host an event like that with that huge park and putting Stone Lake, and you know, I think it should be a good event for sure.
Josh is saying, don't show the race leaders on the flyby, it's depressing. Let's see, we're both about to catch some wheels. So you can see there, I'm about to catch a wheel there. I'm about to catch this guy, so I'm not alone anymore. Josh, you're also catching a wheel. This dude, so who's this dude? Let me see. Is that Shane? The guy in blue?
Damn, getting close to those little stakes. Damn, you're getting close to the stakes.
So Derek, do you think those athletes racing with us, who race at Benelli Park every year, do you think they're gonna get an advantage at the Olympic year when it comes here, because they know the course, they know the weather?
Yeah, I mean, it really is all over the map, right? We've had Benelli Parks where it was rainy. We've had it when it was super hot. So all those things will play a factor. I mean, Nino Schurter, a few years ago, he showed up and stomped everybody at Benelli. I remember I did an interview with Kate Courtney when she won her first pro race at Benelli Park. So she's got to have some fond memories about that. So, you know, I think anybody who's going to be ready for an Olympic year is going to be ready. All the teams, all the athletes are going to try to come there with their A game for sure.
Josh is saying it's supposed to be Benelli for the Olympics. Hopefully they add some good tech. Yeah, hopefully the features they had they're gonna stay permanent. I think that's the point of having an Olympic venue, is that the investment in infrastructure stays after the Olympics. And speaking of the top talent that is racing with us, so at the front we have Christopher Blevins is racing there. We have Peter Serra, Andrew L'Espérance, Leon Bouchard. Some pretty big names, like Keegan Swenson is there, Raphael Gagny. So those guys, some of those guys are Olympians, so they were in Rio competing in the Olympics. So it's kind of their training ground. I guess it's a good place to prepare your World Cup season, right, Derek? When you race in Southern California, it's just,
in the early season. And we have to recognize Keegan set the Everesting. He set the record on Everesting and took it away from Phil Guyman there for a minute before everybody else got involved. And now Contador actually just took it from everyone. If you're not familiar with the whole Everesting thing during the lockdown, people have been going after doing a record 29,000 feet of climbing as fast as possible.
Okay.
And it was 7 hours. Under 8 was anything in the 7 hour range was really good.
Damn. Okay. I didn't know that. So are they doing that on Swift or something like that?
No, they're going out to locations and solo riding. And there's a bunch of rules. Phil Guyman's been posting a lot on the worst retirement ever, all about the rules, and they've disqualified people for not doing it correctly. I guess the formula that works the best is you find like 1,000-foot climb that's straight, a pavement, like 12 to 15, 16%, and you go up it like 23 times and you turn around. You want the downhill to be no more than 2.5 minutes, with the climb to be 15 to 16 minutes for 1,000 feet. And you do it, 20 times or whatever, 29 times, and you get your 29,000 feet of climbing. And you try to do it as close to 7 hours as possible.
Damn. Okay. That's a pretty intense challenge, man.
Yeah, it's I know Chad Hall, a rider that rides for me, that won Rim Nordic recently. He went after a couple different Everesting attempts. One was, there used to be a race in the Southern Sierras and the Sierras around Mammoth and stuff that was called the Everest Challenge. And he went after some of the KOM and some of the times up in that to try to do that. He also went after the Everesting record, like what Phil and Contador and Keegan all did, a couple different locations, I believe. And I believe he was on world-class pace to about 20,000 feet and then kind of fell apart and had to retire from his attempt.
All right. And on the cam there, we just saw Stuart making an attack, moving up, and then Josh, you're still racing with your Air Force buddy. So that's gonna be a race-long battle, I think, between Josh and this Air Force dude. What's his name again? Is that Will?
Man, Stuart's looking pretty good right there. He's putting it down.
So that's Simon. So the guy in blue, his name is Simon Lin.
So a lot of people don't know it, but Stuart was considered like my stunt double. And every race we went to for, I would say, like over 4 years, people would yell Derek or Herminator to Stuart at every single race. And the funny thing is, even his brother, who was his twin brother, called him me.
Oh yeah. Damn.
He's sort of bridging into his own now, for sure, where he's not getting mistaken as me quite as much. But I was totally okay with that. He was kicking my ass in most of the races too, so it was nice to have more than one of me in every single race. Like you don't know which one's me, you don't know where I'm at, you don't know what's going on. Like, I got 2 of me in every race.
Nice. And we saw Josh making a move there on Simon. So Josh moving up. I guess you guys are gonna work together. I think it's Josh's turn to attack the climb and break the wind. Let me see where we are on the flyby.
There I am, standing and feeding Samuel and Stu. I was feeding the whole team right there. I was standing on the right hand side.
Oh, you were doing the feed there, yeah?
Yeah, I was doing team managerial duties, photographing, videoing, and feeding.
So that's Josh right here. In this group there, he's with Simon. There's Stuart not far ahead. And those guys are starting to drop behind them, and me, I want to catch them. I'm trying to get a few dudes if I can. Still a very lonely race for me at the back, but not last. That's the goal. All right, yeah, I guess you look like Stuart right now, Derek.
I'll take it. He's a good-looking guy.
And Josh is saying Chad is a monster and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was racing with us at Rim Nordic last weekend, and that race we're gonna watch it on the stream, the next stream. So it's gonna be in 2 weeks. So I think I'm gonna keep streaming like that every 2 weeks. So it gives me some time to do the edit, prepare the stream. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And in 2 weeks we're gonna watch the Rim Nordic race that we did. Was it not last weekend, the weekend before? So
yeah, Stuart had a really good Rim Nordic #1. He beat John and Rom because we had like some team orders, you know, and when you have a really strong team with like 5 or 6 different pros, they're always kind of jockeying for, you know, which one's stronger at the time. And Stu had bested all the relive riders in the pro class at the round #1. Round #2 is amazing. We had 17 pros, which is incredible. That might be almost a record for a number of pros to race Rim Nordic, which was great, and that's really exciting to see that. So I'm showing off my new glasses. This guy in Spain custom painted these for me to match my gold and black Cannondale FSI hardtail.
Really? What's his name? Is he a famous painter?
Yeah, he's a famous guy. I'll give you the link here in a second.
Okay. Yeah, give us shout out to him in the chat, man.
Yeah. It's called MAD, M-A-D.
M-A-D?
Yeah, and you can look M-A-D. It's like capital M, small a, capital D on Instagram. You can check out all of his custom painted Oakleys. He's got a bunch of amazing different lens configurations. I mean, these things are these. I call them my Elvis glasses for sure, man. These are 24 karat blingers.
Oh yeah.
And they're really nice and comfortable to wear. And yeah, I'm really stoked on them. So, MAD.
MAD? You sure it's MAD? I was able to get that.
Yeah, MAD. Mad Custom Creations.
Concentration? Creation?
Not working. Yeah, Mad _ Custom _ Creations.
Oh, okay. Mad _ Let me look it up.
Custom _ Creations, yeah. And he's got some beautiful, like, it took a long time to get here though because, you know, everything with the COVID now and mail and all that, but very, very well done, very custom, super blingy. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but years ago I did a World Cup race at Interbike, the cross race, and I wore a gold helmet and gold Elvis glasses with sideburns. And there was a lot of pictures, you know, taken because we were in Vegas and it was a World Cup cyclocross elite, you know, race. And those pictures got used and even ended up being the promotion for the World Cup there many years later on. And so it kind of feels like I'm going back a little bit to that.
Yeah, they look amazing.
Yeah. And in '99, I raced a gold and black bike that was a Schwinn homegrown. So I raced that bike, and then I kind of brought it back last year. And in 2000, I had a gold anodized Schwinn homegrown bike with a gold handlebrake on it. So I'm getting ready to try to reproduce that bike 20 years later. So just fun stuff to do, you know, have themes on bikes and, you know, create fun projects.
But it looks legit when you have a custom paint that nobody has. It looks so cool. So I'm about to catch this dude. That's Simon. So Simon, that we oh, is that the Air Force dude? No, it's another Simon, right? Maybe not. We'll see. So still a very lonely race for me, trying to reel the next guy. So Josh, you got a target in front of you. I think that's Stuart. You were yelling at him.
Hey!
And so what were you trying to do, Josh? Are you trying to give everything you had every lap, or are you trying to save yourself a little bit? We saw Alisa Ringo there with her sister and her mom cheering for the crowd.
Come here, Eddie. Come here. It's hard to control these wild animals. I always joke that it's taking my pet cheetah for a ride.
Your pet cheetah. Yeah, that dog's got a lot of energy and it's unbelievable.
You alright?
No.
This
You ready, look? No chain? Damn.
Yeah, this guy has a mechanical, it seems. That's a bummer. Yeah, so for me, my strategy was to go all out every lap. Like every lap is like the last lap of my life. Because you gotta try to survive. Every lap might be the last if the leaders catch you because of the 80% rule. So I'm using my cyclocross pace there, but I was super tired because we raced the weekend before at Bonelli, and I set up my training program to peak at Bonelli, so I had a really good race at Bonelli. I was feeling good. Not a terrific result, but I felt good, so I was really happy, and I didn't know what I was gonna get for this one. Because you never know if you're gonna be fit for 2 races in a row. Sometimes the fatigue sets in, and the compromise I had to do there is that Seattle Classic was coming up, I think 2 or 3 weeks after this race, and I wanted to have a good race also at Seattle, so I put on my training plan as a hay race. Bonelli Park and Seattle were both A races in my training program, and this one was a B races, so it was normal that I was gonna get some fatigue at this one because it's kind of part of the training plan. Josh, we're going max effort, yeah, not leaving anything. And were you fresh? Were you feeling fresh for this race? Because I was not feeling fresh, and the thing is, if I had recovered a bit more after Bonelli and tapered off to be fresh, it would have dropped my fitness too much for Seattle. So if I wanted to be fast at Seattle, I had to keep training hard that week, get some fatigue, and get the gains in the following weeks to be there at Seattle. So that was the compromise that I did. When you race multiple races in a season, you cannot be at your best at every race. So is Riley under control now? Yeah,
there we go. Oh, no, maybe not.
all right, Josh is done with his second lap, so that's 2 laps in the bag, starting his 3rd lap. And me, I'm still climbing. Oh yeah, now I'm descending, so I just reached that final climb, heading to the BMX track section. That section is so fun.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had a little technical difficulties.
Little technical difficulty. It's okay. I have a volume slider. I can mute it.
Yeah. Yeah, but the dog just wouldn't stop barking. I think we have some neighbors that showed up here a second ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so that's the golden bike.
Yeah, it's been pretty sweet lately. I've been riding it a lot. I'm gonna choose to race that again this weekend.
Nice. Alright, so Josh is on his way to climb there already. Still not past the finish line. I'm right here. I'm approaching the finish line. So I've got another dude. I've got a target in front of me. That's Sean. So I'm gonna try to reel one more guy. And Simon there might be within reach for me too. So I'm trying to get as many positions as I can. But I'm also racing the clock because if we look at race leaders behind me, here they are. Keegan Swenson right there. It looks like he's leading the race. So we got Keegan. We've got pages, but I'm saying he's leading the race. We don't know for sure because we might not have everybody on the flyby. And as soon as they reach 20%, so they still have to climb up there and go back down. And as soon as they're gonna be 20% of a lap behind me, I'm gonna get pulled out. So in my mind, I was gauging my my pace for 3 laps, because that's what I usually do on those UCI HC events. So I was pacing myself for 3 laps, 45 to 55 minutes. And if I get a 4th lap, then that's just a bonus lap. But I'm just gonna try to survive. But yeah, I'm pacing myself for 3 laps. So here I am, starting my 3rd lap. Gonna give everything I have, trying to survive, because I know there's no other lap. If I'm slow, if I try to recover, I'm gonna get pulled out. So I might as well give everything I have like it's the last lap of my life. So that's the strategy.
Yeah, it's interesting. People don't realize that, you know, when you have that many riders and it bottlenecks into the single track, and the quality, you know, of those riders too, that it's so crucial in those beginning parts of the race to get into a certain kind of group to, if you want to be in contention. And as things get bottlenecked and things get pushed back, you know, it's so hard. And then because of the 80% rule, you just have to go all out as hard as you possibly can, as long as you possibly can, because it's almost an inevitable on a short course that's a World Cup style course that you're going to get caught eventually and they're going to pull you.
Yeah, and you know, that's what I really love about racing those UCI events, is that there's so many riders on course that it's not just about your power numbers and your fitness. There's also a lot of racecraft and strategy involved, and that's something I think I'm good at. I mean, we saw in the opening lap, I made it to about halfway through the field. I was about riding it in a 50th position out of 100. And that's all racecraft, like sneaking around the outside where there's a bottleneck on the inside, and sneaking through the middle line that nobody practiced, and going around people who are slowing down in single file, and that kind of, you know, tricks makes me go up. And that racecraft, you know, helps me to I think to punch higher than my weight. And then but then once the climb starts, I have nowhere to hide. But I like that. I like that the sport is about, you know, track position and racecraft also.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a Sam, me and him had strategized about one of the Fontana races, and he had a last row call up, and he passed, I think 100 and like over 100 riders in the first lap, and he got himself like in the top 45 or something. And I think he came through the lap after that, maybe just out of the top 30 before he started coming apart. But it was just unbelievable how many riders he passed in that first lap. I mean, you know, Fontana's a mad dash at the beginning, and it's pretty gnarly, especially to get to that climb going up, you know, the very top. And yeah, it was pretty spectacular to see Sam do that. I mean, pass 100 riders, like, insane.
And that feels so good because you feel like you're moving forward. And we got John is in the chat, John Martindale. He says, hi Ben, I'm camping in Mammoth. Alright, so I was thinking Mammoth must be really good up there. It must be the prime season right now.
Yeah, we were just up there and I love Mammoth. It's great riding up there for sure.
And Josh is saying, same strategy here. I assume every lap is my last. Push like I'm on my last lap. All right, that's the way to go. And Josh was saying earlier that he hired a coach to track his fitness and his freshness, so that he doesn't have to do it. So that's pretty cool, yeah. And there's a lot of science behind that. So if you get a coach, or if you learn to do it yourself, you can gain a lot of speed by managing your fitness and your freshness. Or fatigue, you know, another way to say it. So fatigue and fitness, those two curves, if you optimize them, you can get the most out of your abilities.
Yeah, I just actually started consulting with Chad Hall.
Yeah.
I know he's been doing a lot of coaching, and he picked up a lot of clients. We did some interviewing and talking about that recently. But yeah, I'm doing a little bit of consulting with him as far as how I can maximize. You know, I've been doing it so long, but you also get caught in, you know, doing the wrong thing sometimes. So it's like, how can you manage everything and even have a little bit more insight from an outside perspective to, you know, optimize, you know, your time and your efforts.
Yeah, it always surprises me how much the science is right. Like sometimes I'm thinking there's no way I'm gonna have a good race, and the numbers are saying that I should have a good race, and I'm like, I can't believe it. I'm not gonna have a good race, and then poof, it happens, and I'm like, okay, the science is right, and it works. I mean, it's easy to be skeptical, but in the end, there's a lot of studies were made about the science of cycling and of training, and yeah, you follow the training plan, and the fitness comes to you. Yeah, what I use is Training Peaks. That's what I use. So I don't have a coach, so I do my own coaching. So I use this. So I plan all my workouts there. So sometimes you miss some workouts and it shows up in red. Sometimes you pretty on your working your workout and they show up in green, and then it tracks your fatigue, your form, and when you optimize those numbers to peak at the race you want to peak at, it really makes a difference. It's crazy. Whenever my fitness is high, my fatigue is low, bam, I have a really good race. And sometimes I think I'm feeling good and I'm gonna have a good race, and my fatigue is pretty high, and I'm like, oh man, I hope I have a good race, and then no, I have a terrible race because the numbers don't lie.
I've noticed as aging too, as I become an older athlete, it becomes even more crucial than ever before. You know, when you're younger, you know, and even younger for me, even not very many years ago, I could just basically just ride, go into a race, put a maximum effort out. But that top end, it seems like it definitely starts diminishing, especially after 50. And you have to be even more calculated in your effort and more specific in your training.
Yeah, and do you think the recovery time increases when you get older? Is that what you notice?
Yeah, you definitely need more recovery time and more specific, you know, training, because you need that more recovery time, so the amount of time that you're training has to be more precise. You know, you just can't go out and ride your bike or go out and do every group ride like it's a race, and it's you do actually really start to change, like, you know, your physiology starts changing. And I didn't think that was ever going to happen. I thought, you know, right at the 48, I was battling for the overall win, you know, of the state series and whatever. And then, you know, kind of experienced a slowdown after that and had to, like, you know, reassess things and rechange some of my training and nutrition and everything.
So what did you change in terms of nutrition? Did you make some drastic changes?
Yeah, I've been trying to do plant-based diet. With some other proteins, depending, you know, it's kind of, you know, you want to be gentle with yourself as far as how regimented you want to be. But I think anytime you're, you know, juicing or doing more plant-based is a really good idea. More for me, a big issue I had is drinking and eating while riding. And so I've been trying to step up the amount that I drink and eat during my events. You know, as the metabolic rate changes, you know, and you're going really, really hard in events. Some other nutrition stuff, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And oh, Josh, you got some action. Some action there, swapping position. You guys,
Simon. Noah.
You guys are gonna work together. That's Shane. So Josh and Shane working together, trying to survive lap 3 to make it to lap 4.
And I think Vail Lake is a place that you really can work with someone else for sure, and see a bigger benefit than something on some of the other race courses that we visit during the year.
Yeah, and sometimes a rider you're gonna see is really fast on the climbs, and he can pull another rider, and then the fast descender can go ahead and open the way for the guy who's a bit more scared on the descent. And by working together like that too, with different skill set, it can make a big difference. This guy's riding a nice snorkel bike. Yeah, so Josh is saying in the chat that he was starting to suffer around this point. So yeah, I mean, at this point you gotta race like it's the last lap, like you've got wolves chasing you. So if you don't give everything, your race is over. So there's no time to back down.
Yeah, it's all or nothing just to get that one last guy before you get to the start finish and they pull you. You know, you're like, if I give it everything, I just get that one more guy. Like, then I can get across the line.
Yeah, but then
go puke and, you know, choke my brains out.
But then you gotta keep going, and then you gotta do it again. You gotta give everything again because you might survive another lap, and you don't know.
You never know, yeah. I had a really good national at Fontana one year, and I made the lead lap. And coming through onto the lead lap, I made it onto the lead lap, and I was like in 35th position or something. I was having an amazing day, and completely imploded, and like almost couldn't finish the last lap. But I made it onto the last lap, but I got passed by like 5 people on the last lap. I know Matt passed me. I almost fell over actually on the climb because my body seized up so bad. I was so nutritionally deficient. I think I ended up getting like 40th or something, but yeah, it was one of my best nationals I ever had.
Nice. And Josh in the chat is saying he was looking at his power numbers, so he was targeting 300 watts, which is roughly his FTP on the climbs. So we can see there you're punching a bit higher than your FTP, like you went up to 400, but I think it was just to make sure you don't lose his wheel. So sometimes it's worth, you know, burning a match just to grab a wheel.
Yep.
And that's very different than racing a time trial, because in a time trial you're not trying to grab a wheel to, you know, to preserve.
Dude, that like high 400s, man, pushing hard.
And Josh is saying that the firewall climb had a headwind too. And Dunstan is offering mechanical advice. Said Josh needs to fix that bottom bracket creak. Yeah, what was it? Was it coming from the bottom bracket? Sometimes the GoPro camera picks up some sounds. It could be from the cables. It could be from sometimes it's the number plate. The number plate is kind of rubbing on a shift cable, and it's doing some sounds like that. And Josh is saying my bike always makes noise. You need to bring it to Bear Valley Bikes.
Yeah, I have a stethoscope, you know, like the doctor's office, and we'll get that out and we'll pick it up. We'll figure out exactly where the noise is coming from.
Oh yeah.
It can really be anywhere from the rear skier being loose, front skier being loose, bottom bracket, chainring bolts, pedal issues, pivot issues, seat issues. I mean, those noises, they sound sometimes like they're coming from one place and they're coming from a totally different place. And to track them down can be really, really challenging. And the more times you do it, you kind of start to learn different areas that, you know, start looking to try to get rid of all those weird creaks and noises. I have a new chain loop out too that's super good, and we're thinking maybe it's like 10 watts per pedal stroke, and it's waterproof, and it's really long term, so it lasts on the chain for a really long time.
First time I hear about that, using a doctor's equipment to diagnose your bike.
Yeah, why not?
Do you prescribe drugs for the bike? Take this pill.
Yeah. Special chain loop.
Chain loop?
You know?
Yeah, speed evolution. Chain loop. There you go. So Josh is saying, reaching near the end of the race, I'm trying to fight for that last position. Yeah, so in your mind, it could be a sprint finish for you, because that's lap number 3. We were expecting to do 3 laps before we get knocked out by the 80% rule. So we're about at the end of the lap there. So Josh, you're thinking, I need to give everything to pass this Diker, because it might be a sprint finish for position at this point.
This is a good battle. He's like, I mean, 400 watts steadily, and in the 300s at least, and reeling back in, and he's trying to get away, and that's a big guy, so he looks kind of heavier, so he's even turning higher wattage probably than Josh. But yeah, this is a good battle to the finish for sure.
And we saw on my camera there on the band cam, I just passed one dude, so I was able to reel one more dude. Let's see if we get the name. I think that was that was Simon.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to reel one more guy. It's the battle of the dying back markers here.
Hey, I resemble that remark. I did my time everywhere from the middle to the back of the field. Never really found myself in the front of any major race like that. But I had fun, and I did it over and over again. Like, I never learned my lesson.
No, but it's fun. I mean, it's part of the training, and the first lap is so much fun with everybody together, and you know, trying to pass everybody. It's totally worth it. And even if I'm by myself suffering like a dog, I mean, if I didn't race this race, I mean, that was still part of my training program. So I would be going up and down in Bel Air, up and down a hill, just trying to hit the same numbers that I'm hitting on the race course right there. So might as well go on the race course and have fun, and you know.
I've always said that the only way to really train for racing is to race, because the simulating those circumstances exactly is so hard to do, you know, when you don't have the motivation of all those people around you. And those starts, I would always say a prayer before those starts, because I never wanted to get taken out and just chewed up right at the beginning of a race with 130, 140 riders or whatever, going as hard as they can. They're very thrilling.
Yeah. All right, so that's where you're gonna find out, Josh, if you get pulled out.
Here comes Joshua Judo looking good.
All right, see the UCI official on the right there. That's the UCI official who's gonna flag you to get out of the course if you're being pulled out. But see, the official didn't put him out, so he made it. He survived one more lap. So now he's on.
A blessing in disguise,
Yeah,
right?
it's like, yeah, but oh shit, I've gotta do this again. So you were getting ready to sprint for the finish in case the guy behind was attacking you, Josh? Yeah, so now you're like, yes, I made it, but I've got to do another lap. So, but that's pretty good. In my case though, I'm still not done with this lap. So I'm again giving everything I have, trying to survive one more lap.
What kind of bike are you riding now, Josh?
So Josh, I saw you had a really cool bike at Rim Nordic last weekend. Tell us about your bike. I think it's a Pivot.
Oh, okay. Pivot's one of those brands that's really grown a lot in the last like 5 or 6 years. And you know, like Chloe Woodruff and Keegan Swanson and a whole bunch of people have been racing their bikes, and their bikes have really stepped it up a lot. The whole Stans team, and yeah, their bikes are starting to really, that bike brand is kind of based out of Arizona when I first started seeing them, but we start seeing more and more of them all over the place, and it seems like a pretty good bike.
So I think Josh told me he bought it from a pro rider. I think, was it Chloe Woodruff that sold you her bike? Or maybe it's another pro rider. It's a female pro rider who sold her bike. It was her 2020 race bike, and she put it on sale, and Josh was the lucky one to grab it. It's a hardtail Pivot.
That's crazy that she sold her 2020 bike instead of keeping the 2020 and selling the 2019. Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
And sell the old one, you know?
Well, she might know something we don't know, like maybe there's a 2021 that's coming pretty soon.
Yeah, maybe. Is that a Kinda KS girl?
Josh is gonna, I think Josh is a bit behind on the stream, so it's gonna take a while before he hear our comments about the bike, but he's gonna type it in the chat. What's his
I know that Pivot also sponsors the KS Kinda's women team, which is, you know, pretty good deal. So it could have been one of them, but also Chloe and Rose Grant and a bunch of Sophia, all them also have been really good.
So here I'm crossing the finish line, so I'm gonna find out if I'm getting pulled out. And that's it. You see the UCI official right there? It's pulling me out of the race. You're done, Ben. You're the race. So we're gonna keep watching Josh, because Josh is not done.
I'm in that booth right there on the left-hand side. I think me and Phil Guyman were doing a video shoot with Tinker, and yeah, it was pretty funny. We were throwing cookies around the booth, and there's a YouTube video all about that in that booth over there. And Kate Courtney was in the booth for a little while talking about her world championship, and we were throwing box of cookies around.
Yeah, so the females they did their the pro woman they did the race just before us, and yeah, some pretty legit competition, and the world champion was there.
Yeah, so you can check out Phil's YouTube, and it's got that whole segment in there in my booth, and we were getting kind of crazy.
All right, so Josh has caught up to our discussion about the bike. So it's a pivotless.
Oh, Rose Grant's bike, yeah, awesome.
Rose Grant.
Yeah, I know Rose. She's awesome. She's a mom. She's a fast mom, very fast mom. And she won a bunch of like Whiskey 50 races and stuff like that. Yeah.
She won Leadville 100, so that's pretty legit. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
So Josh, he doesn't have any excuse because he's riding the Leadville winning bike.
So what is your bike weigh, Josh?
What's the weight? It's gonna take a while for Josh to answer that.
It's okay.
But yeah, he says it's great to be back on a hardtail. Yeah, I picked it up at the Trim Nordic, and it's super light. It's got carbon wheels, it's got full XTR.
I can't say enough though, if you have a hardtail, you should at least bird your rear wheel. Bird is a BERD, is a kind of spoke that is made out of filament, and it's a kind of a throwback to the olden days. And I don't know if you guys remember, like Tinker and Ned and John Tomac was famous for this Tioga tension disc rear wheel, which was Mylar with a Kevlar strand that wove through the wheel, and it gave the rear wheel some flexibility a little bit and some vibration dampening, as well as some aerodynamic benefit. Well, the bird spokes kind of bring back that concept, but in more of a traditional, much easier to implement way. And you get a vibration dampening. The spoke itself is half the weight of a regular spoke, but 10 times stronger. And then it vibration dampens. And on a hardtail, it makes the bike so much more planted and controllable when you're bouncing through the bumps. And if you could do the front and rear wheel, it would almost make a hardtail into like a short travel dual suspension bike.
So that's bird wheels? Is that what you're calling them?
Yeah, AERD, yeah. And the other thing is, because you're lowering the rotational weight and you're lowering the unsprung weight, the centrifugal weight of the wheel too, when you handle the bike steers better. And it's just like a whole bunch of things that are addressed. Plus, it's 10 times stronger. So you have more longevity as well, right? And yeah, we built a bunch of wheels for John Noble. Stuart Gonzalez is on the wheels. Samuel Brim's on the wheels. I'm on the wheels. They make their own wheels. We make our own version of the wheels, which are Speed Evolution, that are like 980 grams, depending on the configuration. And yeah, they're super fast and work really well. One of I think, the coolest innovations in the sport that have happened in the last couple years.
Yeah, I think wheels make a big difference to your bike. Like usually the wheels that come with a bike, even if it's the top end bike, even if it's a $10,000 bike, the wheels are pretty average. Like they're not that great, and so it makes a difference when you upgrade. And so yeah, we lost the Josh cam there, so the battery is dead. So that's a bummer. So we're not gonna see the battle that was happening there. There was we can switch to. Let's switch to right here. So let's see what's happening. So Josh is right here,
and Josh said that it was like 20 pounds for the bike. So that's respectable for sure. And you're always trying to balance durability with lightweight.
Yeah, and so we see there on the flyby. So Josh is having a 4-way battle with a bunch of people there. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so we're not gonna be able to get the video of, you know, Josh finishing. Back in the bottom right, that's the video of my race that loops back. So Josh, you got a pretty good finishing position. You made it to lap 4. So that was the last lap, unfortunately. That happens.
I think Josh had a really good race. He had a few pretty strong races. He had a really good last year too. You know, he ended up in the top 10 in a sprint battle right at the end.
Yeah, and he says it's his best race, but it's still in the category of his best race. So that was a good job by Josh. So he got 88th placed on lap 4 in 1 hour 17 minutes, which is pretty decent. He was ahead of Shane, ahead of Noah, and it was a sprint battle with Joseph and Spencer. Even Stewart was within reach at that point. So Stewart must be not that. See, that's where Stewart is right here. So see this group here with Josh, they're working together. They're gonna catch Stewart, and he was like 15 seconds ahead of Josh at the finish line. So pretty solid race by all of them to make it to lap 4. So that's my goal next year, make it to lap 4 with those guys. Trying to suffer one more lap.
You can do it, Ben.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep training. So this year is gonna be kind of a short year for me. The training program is gonna look a bit different this year. There's not gonna be a cyclocross season, I think, and then after that I'm gonna start my training program for next year pretty early. So yeah, hopefully I'm up there next year. And so for me, I finished 95th out of 100, so not last. Got a good training stress, that was pretty good. And race winner Christopher Belvins won it in 6 laps. He did it in 1:38. So that was a sprint finish with Peter DiSera, who was like 2 seconds behind at the sprint finish, and Andrew L'Esperance rounded up the top 3. And yeah, he had the same time, so he came with the same time with Peter DiSera. So Andrew and Peter crossed the finish line on the same second.
Sprint finish for sure.
Sprint finish. So I don't know if they sorted that out on the photo finish or something like that. And then Leon Bouchard was in 4th, and Jose Gerardo
Trudeau is just on your feet over here on the left-hand side. He's won the Grizzly and got 2nd last year. You can see Kyle's right ahead of you. Probably got started pretty far back.
Yeah, they made their way. I mean, they had what was needed to reconnect with the front. And yeah, so that was the race. That was a pretty fun race. I really liked it. It's always a blast to race.
So my focus throughout this year and into next year is to try to do events that I haven't done before, as well as a lot of local stuff that's around here, like, you know, Vail, Benelli, Big Bear, Rim, Fontana, stuff like that, and then maybe try to get in some as soon as travel is not so banned. We really want to go do. Me and Stuart have been talking for quite a while now about planning on going and doing a mountain bike stage race, either like the Swiss Epic, something like that. So that's kind of like a goal of ours for the future.
Yeah, I was thinking about it this year to do the Swiss Epic. But I don't think I would have been ready this year, so maybe next year. But that would be a really amazing event to do, you know, riding in the Alps. It must be so epic.
I actually know the organizer. We did the Baja Epic together, and then he was the Costa Blanco in Spain, because I've done a bunch of those events that are, you know, 3 to 5 day, you know, mountain bike stage races, and it's just so good to be around the people for every day and have. It's a little bit different dynamic, and you get to go to a really exotic place, and it's a fun experience to have, you know.
Yeah. All right. So John Martindale is asking if I said yes to cyclocross or skipping. So, well, I don't think it's gonna be able to happen this year just because of the pandemic. It's not a race format that makes sense in a pandemic. So I think cyclocross might have to be canceled this year unless they come up with a new innovative race format. That would be really cool. I play racing games all the time. Every night I play on iRacing. And by the way, if you wanna check out I have a new YouTube channel, so check it out. It's called Ben Official 2. That's where I post all my esports races that I do in the simulator. So Formula 1 is the series I do the most. Indy Pro is another one, but I also do some rallycross. And I was thinking about the race format of rallycross might make sense for cyclocross, where they do a head-to-head competition. So they put two riders on the same track, but they start. One of the riders start mid-lap and the other start at the start-finish line, and then they kind of chase each other. So they are like half a lap apart, but they're chasing each other, and that could be interesting, to have some duels like that, and a kind of race format that allows for some distancing of the riders.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Ben. I think, you might even approach like Dorothy Wong, the SoCal Cross, or some other promoters about doing an event like that, and even a time trial format.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess the course would need to be a little bit longer because you're going to get a lot of overlapping going on there, but I think there's opportunity for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a way to get creative with the race format, and maybe do some test races to see what's fun, what works, and yeah, that'd be fun. I'd be down with that if we do some cyclocross. And Kayang is giving a thumbs up. So yeah, so that was the stream tonight. It was a short one because UCI event, it's always a short race for us, the back markers. We're trying to survive as many laps as we can. And yeah, so thanks you guys for watching. The next stream is gonna be in 2 weeks, August 13th. We're gonna watch Rim Nordic number 2. You're gonna be there. Derek. So we had a cam on you, Derek, for Rim Nordic number 2.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I gave it what I had. I was pedaling some squares, but it was still fun. I ended up getting 3rd place. So yeah, we'll recap that next week.
We'll watch the replay next week. And we also had the Josh cam. We also had a Chad cam. So we had that's gonna be a fast cam. It's gonna be the fastest cam we ever had on the stream. Chad is a really fast rider. We put a cam on him, see what would happen, and the cam came back intact. It didn't disintegrate with his speed, so that's good to know. And Frederick saying, have you guys tried the beetroot tablets? No, I haven't tried that. And
what are they called?
Beetroots?
Beetroot, yeah, I do beet juice pretty regularly, but I haven't actually taken the little caps.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna end it there. Thanks for watching, Yordi in Costa Rica, watching from. Yeah, it's been good seeing you guys in the chat. Chad is saying this was better than Tour de France, so yeah, I mean, if it's canceled,
we really got to put it out there to Ben for putting this whole thing together. I really hope that in the future that we can develop this technology even better and continue to refine it and build upon what you've developed with this platform and make it even better, because I think it's some of the best coverage that we have available to us as far as mountain bike racing, in Southern California. So I'm all in to invest in working with Ben to try to develop it even further. And I think there's no reason why we can't do it as the technology continues to advance.
Yeah, we can do that. We can get more cameras, drones, and we're gonna keep fine tuning this setup. I think we've got a decent setup there with Discord, and we're gonna keep trying to make it better, and also to make it easy to do so that it gets easier. I've got a pretty good setup for Twitch streaming, which I just flip a switch and I stream on Twitch TV. So I want to get there with this setup. So all right, gonna see you guys at the race this Sunday in Big Bear. Thanks, Derek, for tuning in, and
this week.
see you guys next time. All right, cheers.
All right.